Hello everyone, welcome to Art Obsession Studio, and I promised we were going to do a painting with knives, and these are the wrong knives. Hang on. These knives, so much more friendly. We're going to paint with these, and I'll tell you what the influence is. Well, first a couple of things to get caught up. I got my hair cut. So I feel like I'm back in the land of the civilized. And I was at the thrift store the other day and I found this book, which is a huge nostalgic thing for me because when I was a kid, Merlin Enabnit, I think it is, Enabnit. Anyway, he's a member of the Royal Society of Arts, and he produced these books on how to paint. And when I was a kid, I used to get these books, and I was so excited because, as you can look up really closely, Merlin just put the paint on with a knife, and look at that. He put it on so thick, and I was really impressed with this. And so I bought this for nostalgic reasons. They only wanted $1.50 for it. Look at the original price, $2.25. Interesting. But I like what Merlin was doing, and this is a guy that just loves to muddy paint up and create and invent crazy colors that you wouldn't imagine. Just take a look at some of his palette examples. And I was so blown away by this when I was a kid. So we're going to do something that's completely inspired by what Merlin has done here. And I'll find something in this book and then I'll present it to you. But I wanted to kind of give you a little bit of an idea of some of his approach. It's so basic and simple, but it's all about the color and the mood. That is supposed to be a shepherd right there. You can see the head. See how that looks? But think about the mood that creates. There's something here about color that, we have to recognize. And he was a big guy with the knives. So, as a young, impressionable 12 or 13 years old or whatever it was, I would go to this place called Cole's Bookstore. Now this one's really interesting, the one with the mountains that he's done here. And he talks about the colors. I still do that today, to this day. I have a little workbook where I do little mock-ups of a painting, and then I'll write in how I achieved those tones. And that's what he did. Look at that in his book. So I got this for nostalgic purposes because it reminds me of when I was a kid. And I would see this stuff. It was called Cole's Bookstore. And it was, they had paints there. I loved it. I used to go in there just to fondle the paint tubes because, you're getting to know me. But this, to me, this is great stuff, okay? I love something about the paint tubes and me and that part of my life and this connection that I have. And I just love it. And maybe you're the same way. That'd be really cool if you are. And you're like, I love these colors. I love the smell of oil paints. I love, no hate, just love. Right? No knives. Put these away. We're going to be painting with these. And I'm not very good at it because I paint with brushes mostly. But I do like to dabble in it. And when I was a kid, I had a knife. And the knife that I had, I only had one knife. And it was like this. And if you can read this one, very, very fine print. It was made in Japan by Acro Oil. It's a number 4. Now I've noticed today they have all kinds of crazy numbers on them. So obviously the standard has changed, or who knows. But this knife is probably, I would guess it's about 40 years old. And so they last a really long time. And I mix paint with this all the time, every time that I paint. So let's get started right away. Let's not waste any more time talking about it. Okay, let's explore some of what Merlin has shown us in the past. And it's pretty exciting stuff. So he likes to start with a thick, heavy brush and brush in, you know, what might be a part of the sky. And we're just going to go right in over top of this dark canvas here. So I'm not sure. I'm not trying to copy him. I just want us to see some color. He loves cerulean blue, I know. Now we'll get some of that, and there's a little bit of that under paint coming through, which is kind of neat. We'll put this right up along the top here. I have a cloud idea. Now this is just, again, this is kind of like painting for pleasure. The other thing I like is he uses things like burnt umber and alizarin crimson to do cloudy scenes, and he doesn't mind a little bit of that blue getting in there. And these are very interesting colors to put into a sky. When I first saw this, I was so intrigued because I thought, when have I seen a brown sky? But, you know, in reality, if you think about what it's like when you have a really humid evening and it's getting dark and maybe there's even forest fires burning somewhere in the distance. So here I think we're going to have a mountain, just to kind of give you a bit of an idea. We'll put in, it'll be like a steep mountain in the background. I think we have to have a bit of a plan about where we're going. So I think I'll have like I want a little bank here. And actually we'll just kind of sketch it in yellow. So a little bit of a bank here, some ground, and like this stuff will be in the distance. I'll have a little streak of blue because you never know. there could be, and then, you know, he just muddies things up. He just takes and works with that brown. Whoops, we were going to have a mountain there. That's okay. We'll put that mountain in anyways. A little valley between the mountains right here. Sharper valley there. And we'll add to those. But just to get some of this idea. So this is burnt umber, alizarin crimson, some cobalt blue, and then, you know, there'd be like for clouds. So we'll just brush this stuff in really lightly. So you end up with these crazy colors in the sky, which are, like I say, they're very interesting. And, you know, not necessarily what you would think to put in sky or clouds for that matter. And we'll just try and be very casual here as we finish that off. Get that paint on there. Okay, and then using the knife going forward, this is where we'll take and put in some of these darker. And we'll take, he likes also to use a Payne's Gray, so we'll go ahead and indulge in Payne's Gray. And then this alizarin crimson again. And the mountains kind of can be any of these tones. It's quite fascinating. And I'm just experimenting along with you. So if you're thinking, wow, this is kind of new for me, it's new for me too. But the title of his book was called Painting for Pleasure. Oops, we got a chunk of something there. Get rid of that. Now, this is what's neat about working with knives. You're basically sculpting these lines. So Payne's Gray, what's left of our cerulean blue, like that. And then we'll get more of that crimson in here. A little bit of Payne's Gray, mostly alizarin crimson in this case. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we'll use that, but not quite yet. I'm going to take mostly the white, a little bit of the alizarin, mix it up. I'm going to end up with this pinky color, but wait for it. And we'll take we'll take the Payne's Gray. And I don't have ochre on my palette, so what we'll do is we'll orange it up a little bit with some cadmium yellow, the white, Payne's Gray. I gotta try and get I know the color I'm after is kind of this, there it is. This would be sort of this warm, very warm gray. Pull that down for tops of our mountains. Anyway, it's a really extraordinary and interesting approach to setting up a landscape. A lot of colors I would never consider working with these colors, but again, like as a child, I was like really impressed with this guy because of what he was doing with these colors. Okay. Oh yeah, that's kind of a cool look. So we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. I'm going to go over here and make some green with my Payne's Gray and my yellow to finish off our valley over here. Ooh, another chunk of stuff. I'm using up some old paints, repurposing, as they call it. So there we go. This is the joy, the absolute joy of working with color like this. And just plastering it on. Oops. working with a palette, working with a small palette and just kind of getting a flavor for how we can light up this foreground a little bit. And you're basically just troweling on the paint and creating all these really cool effects. Using all these cool colors and these blends of color to create this feeling of the ground around. And then I don't have any black with me, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of umber and just bring it in to these mountains here a little bit to create a little bit of a feeling that there is indeed mountains here and valleys. And you can sort of get the feeling now, right, for what's going on here. And we're just going to throw a little bit more white into the program with a touch of yellow to accent those mountains. And we're definitely going to be using this knife again, so I'll just clean the knife so I'm fairly clean, but you can see how fast this goes. And so I think we have almost a tangerine thing going on here, and we can put that right on the leading edge of this snow on these mountains. It creates some fun warmth. I tell you, this is painting for pleasure. There's no lying about it. It's a lot of fun to just be able to go ahead and feel the freedom of just being able to apply this type of paint. And whoops, I think we can fix that, you know. We go like this. Get some more of this, so if we make a mistake, we can easily repair that. Give it one of those, and one of these. And a little bit of that. I think that creates a bit of a mood, don't you? And who knows, perhaps we're lucky enough to get a little reflection in a little bit of the water down here. And here, actually, I wanted to have the hints of a little fire maybe burning. Well, we can get to that later. And these things, we can fix them up a little bit. Well, there you have it. Now, that didn't take a lot of time, but you can see that we could add anything in here that we wanted, like a little cabin or whatever, you know, and this is obviously where the lake is going to go. So we can kind of decide what we're going to do about all of that stuff. And even this cloud here, if we're not, you know, 100% happy with the way that turned out, you know, we can always get in here and move some more color around. And we'll even use our knife now to finish off the clouds if we want, just like this. And we can create some feeling there. And I would even go as far, you know, as to say, hey, let's warm those clouds up a little bit. Up near the tops especially, because we feel that there could be some sun. Just like that. And then blend it out a little, maybe. Get just a little bit foggy like this. Like that. And there we go. And folks, there you have it. A very quick little color theory sketch for you again. The things you can do with color very quickly and open your horizons, your mind, and even an old book like that. Enabnit, I think, is how you pronounce his name. Enabnit, it could be. I think it's an abbot. And his name is Merlin, and he used to do these books, and bless his soul, I think he's no longer with us. But, you know, it reminded me anyway when I saw this book at the thrift store, and I picked it up and I thought, I've got to share this concept because it's just, it is very, very pleasurable to be able to just, and liberating, to just grab these colors you wouldn't even imagine are in the sky, and go ahead and put them up there, and then see what kind of a result you get. And if it makes you happy, then I guess that was the thing with Bob Ross, wasn't it? A happy little tree in another scene, and a lot of pleasure went into putting color on canvas. Again, we don't have a lot of definition going on. Not all of it's, you know, true to the camera, but it could be a lot of fun. And I could keep going here, but I think you get the idea and you can play with it. So some of the crazy colors that we're putting in the sky, again, just as a recap, Alizarin Grimson, burnt umber, cobalt blue, cerulean blue. He loves the cerulean blue, this guy, and I don't disagree with him. I use cerulean and cobalt, both of those values in the sky a lot, because cobalt can produce a wonderful twilight, dark twilight sky, and a cerulean blue can give you a beautiful morning sky or even a tropical sky. So I love both of those. There's just something warm about a cerulean sky, and about cobalt blue, it's a real cold, late evening kind of blue. But anyway, there you have it. So good luck.